All right, as soon as the light comes on, we can start. It's on. We were a little bit crowded up here. Welcome. Tonight is the April 24th Mayor and Council meeting in Oakland, and it's a very special meeting. It's our annual student government night, where we have students from Valley Middle School, all student from the Student Council, and they will be running the meeting, pretty much. Before we begin the meeting, I just want to ask everyone to look at your cell phones. That includes adults and children alike. Please make sure your cell phone is either off or on vibrate, and also please refrain from texting, because it is disruptive, it's discourteous, and could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. At this time, we will start with a roll call, first of the elected officials.
Mayor Schwager.
Here.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Councilman Kamala.
Here.
Councilman Levy.
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Here.
Councilman Talamini.
Here.
And now,
Trey Isak.
Here.
Jasmine Azar. Here. Benjamin Good.
Here.
Jack Cooper.
Here.
Krishan Patel.
Here.
Giacomo Scalisi.
Here.
Bidah Diabaligay.
Here.
you did good.
Sorry if I screwed.
You want me to say it? Okay, at this time, we ask you to stand to salute to the flag, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this is the time when we remain standing for a moment of silence and any prayers. Please be seated. And now they take over. You're on, Trey. You ready, Mayor?
Yes. Meeting announcement. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building.
And now Trey is going to read the mayor's message that I give at every council meeting.
Saturday, April 28th at Oakland Municipal Building. Styrofoam and plastic bag collection, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tire recycling, electronics, computers, and shredding. In Mahwah, Bergen County Campgall Mountain Reservation, June 8th and October 6th. In Paramus, Bergen County Community College, April 7th and August 17th.
And the time?
At 9 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Right.
On Saturday, May 4th, plant sales. The Garden Club of Oakland, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ponds Church.
And this is very exciting news.
Bathrooms in the rec field. Ladies' room is ready to be opened again, and there's still a few problems with the men's room.
All right, and he's letting me read the next message. Tomorrow, which is a very special day, April 25th, which is going to take place at 11 o'clock tomorrow at the Oakland Post Office. And I had talked about this earlier, that the Oakland Post Office is going to be dedicated to our postmaster, who is deceased, Frank Leone, who was our postmaster, I think, for over 30 years. It's very special. It took a lot of work, actually almost 5 years. We were very lucky that it was Josh Gottheimer, our congressman, who was able to get the bill through Congress to the president's desk. So we thank Congressman Gottheimer for submitting and supporting the bill, and for President Trump for signing the bill into law. So you know you have to sign, the president has to sign the bill, because it's the U.S. Postal Service. It's a government agency, and we needed his signature to get it done. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., we have a lot of dignitaries coming. It's very special. If you did not know Frank Leone, you missed out on meeting a great man. And if you knew him, you know what I'm saying. And we're very excited. His widow will be there tomorrow with his family, and there will be a plaque going up for the Frank Leone Post Office in Oakland. And with that, you will entertain a motion to?
The public.
And, is there a motion?
Is there a motion?
Yes.
Yes? And
Second.
then what do you say?
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we get to open, and ask them for their name and their address. Okay, we're open to the public. You're on, Mr. Center.
Am I the only one, I guess? Okay. Don Senna, 47 Thackeray Road.
Welcome.
I'm here to talk about the school board election and to just give some information that I'm sure everybody on this council knows, but I'd like the general public to know, so it's being televised. First of all, there are only 8 towns in all of Bergen County that actually have a separate school board election, Oakland being one of them. And only for the Oakland's elementary and Valley Middle School, not for the high school. The budget vote is not even a necessary vote as long as an increase is held within the state guidelines, which I believe are 2%. For the 2019 election, which just occurred, the school board budgeted $25,000. And actually last year, in the 2018 election, they spent $21,168. Okay? This is all for an election that is not necessary. Okay, in this last election, 2019, only 477 of the 9,125 registered voters came out to vote. This is from the Board of Elections website, official counts. That's only 5.2% of the public. This council has the ability to change that election to be with the regular general election. And by the way, last year's general election, over 66% of the town folks came out to vote. And even in the local part of that election, over 2,800 voted for Councilman Bialy and I can't remember.
You
who
can't
else.
remember his name, he's right there.
And Councilman
Jack.
Reed.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jack, actually.
Okay. So anyway, and also just one other point, in the 2019 election, of the 477 people who voted, only 354 of them even bothered to vote for the school board candidate. That's only 5.2% of the electorate. So I'm hoping that this council will show some fiscal responsibility, move that election to election day, and that amount of money can come out of the school board budget or maybe be used for something that'll benefit the students more than an election, which I think is designed just to basically suppress the vote. So,
Before you sit down,
yes, sir.
if I may,
Well, we're talking about it later.
okay?
But I thought you came here to talk about the power plant.
I came here to talk about both things, but I'm not gonna talk about the power plant till I hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're gonna stay till the second part,
Oh, I
okay.
sure will.
That's why I thought you were here.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
No one wishes to speak? Then what do you do?
Motion
To close?
to close to the public.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're now closed to the public until afterwards. The next section is usually the approval of minutes, but we don't have any minutes tonight. And now we have special announcements and appointments. So, you're going to read this and you're going to ask.
We have a special proclamation for Arbor Day. Jack Cooper?
Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Linda H. Schwager, Mayor of the Borough of Oakland, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day. In our community of Oakland, I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations.
And why is Jack reading this? Because?
He's much better at it than I am.
No, what is your committee?
It's from the Shade Tree Committee.
That's why. So he's representing the Shade Tree Committee. So, we're very lucky with
And
our.
he's better at it than I am.
Thank you for sharing that. The next one is,
The proclamation, Bergen County American Legion Centennial. Councilman Pignatelli.
Thank you, Mayor. As a member of the Oakland Post
There
369
you go.
American Legion, I'm very proud to read this resolution. Whereas on March 15th, 1919, the American Legion was founded in Paris, France by United States World War I military personnel, members of the American Expeditionary Force, who convened for the first caucus, and whereas a new organization named the American Legion eventually developed from this historic meeting, whose founders, led by Lieutenant Colonel Theodore Roosevelt Jr., were dedicated to 4 pillars of care for veterans: a strong national defense, Americanism, and children and youth. And whereas today the American Legion is the world's largest veterans organization with over 2 million members worldwide and over 4,000 members belonging to 41 posts in Bergen County. And whereas the Bergen County American Legion organization's 23rd centennial posts that are celebrating their 100th years of service this year, having all been chartered in 1919, and whereas those posts are situated in the following municipalities: Pagoda, Carlstadt, Cliffside Park, Gloucester, East Rutherford, Englewood, Fort Lee, Garfield, Hackensack, Hasbrook Heights, Hillsdale, Leonia, Lodi, Lyndhurst, Maywood, Oradell, Park Ridge, Ridgefield, Ridgefield Park, Ridgewood, Rutherford, Teaneck, and Woodridge. And whereas the Bergen County American Legion Centennial Committee's mission is to bring recognition to the 23 American Legion posts in Bergen County that were chartered in 1919, and to that end will hold a centennial gala on Sunday, September 29th, 2019, at the Elan Catering and Events in Lodi, New Jersey. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the elected representatives and citizens of the Borough of Oakland are pleased to recognize the Bergen County American Legion for their posts, collective myriad of contributions to the good and welfare of veterans, service members, and communities they serve, and wish its members every success in continuing the legacy of service into its next 100 years. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of the Borough of Oakland on this 24th day of April 2019, Linda H. Schwager, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
thank you. And thank you to the veterans and members of the American Legion for being here, and thank you for your service. And we all appreciate it very, very much. Okay, the next item is appointment to the Green Team. That's a mayoral appointment. And I hereby appoint, and thank you, Gina. I hereby appoint Gina Bajakian. She wants to join the Green Team. Thank you. Please just come to Borough Hall tomorrow or at your earliest convenience. See Lisa, our Borough Clerk, to sign the oath of office for this appointment. Thank you. We have an amendment to the agenda, everybody. We received a notice from the Valley Professional Building at 43 Yorpo Avenue, Salvatore Barbagallo. And he's asking for permission to pave their parking lot on Saturday. And the date is Saturday, May 11th. They're going to be using Haskell paving to mill a 2-inch top layer of paving and put down a new 2-inch layer of asphalt. The milling will be 20 feet wide, around 5/8 of the parking lot where most of the driving has occurred. if anybody goes to 43 Yorpo to the medical building and visits any of the doctors there, or the physical therapist, Mr. Lydecker, the parking lot is full of holes, and my little car has hit many of those holes. And so I do know it is desperately in need of repaving. The question is, will we give them permission to pave on that Saturday when most of the offices are closed?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes,
It doesn't mention in here what times they would be doing this.
that will be up to us.
So we normally say 9 to
5.
9 to 5.
So does anybody have any problem with giving them special permission?
Just want to point out, Mayor, that my car doesn't have a problem there.
Well, in between, they would also have a problem, in between the size of your car and the size of my car. Or walking, you could hurt yourself in those holes.
Well, there's doctors there, we're okay.
Oh, okay.
Mayor, Mr. Hagberg also wants to make sure that they have permission on Sunday to
Strike.
strike.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Where is?
Yeah.
Oh, striping will be on a Sunday. Is that a problem? So is it a two, do you want to,
Same hours.
do you have
Same
any
hours, yeah.
problems?
It's not noisy. I mean,
No,
there's a-
striping is not noisy.
It's a compressor.
Yeah, well,
Agree.
I have no
So,
problem with it.
and what time should we give them permission?
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
And that'll be on Saturday and Sunday.
Correct.
You
All
okay
right,
with that?
ask them for
Yeah,
motion.
Jack's cool with it.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Any
Unless you don't
opposed?
want to do it.
Okay, so you'll take care of that? You'll notify them, thank you.
That's okay.
And I'm sure their patients will thank you for driving through that lot.
As Linda's
So
little
now-
tiny car will.
Now we have some ordinances, and I think, resolutions, and I think we have this down. Okay, so you get ready? We're up to resolutions. Oh, that would be very nice, yes, with the proclamation,
Yes.
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 We actually don't have the printed one. It's
Oh.
back at the office.
But we can Photoshop it in? Well, we would like the American Legion to come up
Mayor?
and take a photo. Well, no,
That's the one I
this
wrote,
is
yeah.
my highlighted one. Well, why don't we all,
Pat, we should go up?
Yes.
yes, you're part of the American Legion, do you have your hat?
No, it's home in a safe place.
I think we should all take a picture. Do you have a blank proclamation? Mine's highlighted. Mine's highlighted. Okay. I'll take this one.
Stand side by side, you know, shows her, turns,
The mayor.
The mayor's gotta come in.
turn sideways.
Come right in the middle.
You guys gotta hold her up in the air.
No problem. In the middle.
See, aren't you glad I got the lot play? I got the lot paid for us. So this is the proclamation, okay.
Turn it around.
Well, I wrote on it.
That's all right.
Is it?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to, wait a minute. I'd like to thank the Borough of Oakland for celebrating our 100-year anniversary, and also for presenting us with this proclamation.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and thank
On
you for your
behalf of the
service.
Bergen County American Legion, I'd like to present you with this challenge coin.
Oh my, that's
This is the
beautiful.
Bergen County challenge coin, and on the other side, it has the 100-year.
Oh, that's beautiful, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
you for
and
your
thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too, your service. Thank you for coming, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for honoring the American Legion. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you ready for the resolution?
Yes.
So you're gonna read the resolution, the title, and I'll read the resolution. Ready? We're up to resolutions. Go ahead.
19138, award bid firefighters turnout gear.
This is the resolution whereby the Borough of Oakland seeks to achieve cost avoidances and obtain discount pricing. And we participate with the Township of Wyckoff and the Borough of Franklin Lakes in the WOLF, that's Wyckoff, Oakland, Franklin Lakes backwards, cooperative pricing system. And this is going to be joined together for the procurement to aggregate the fire equipment which each municipality intends to purchase in 2019 via advertised competitive sealed bidding to achieve a discount. And the award contract for the purchase of new, never been used before firefighter turnout pants and coats in accordance with specification from Globe Firefighting Turnout Gear to New Jersey Fire Equipment Company and Lion Firefighting Turnout Gear to Winter Public Safety Group. There a motion?
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Go ahead.
Roll call?
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Okay, ready, next one.
19139, hire seasonal DPW employees.
This is a resolution so that we can hire seasonal laborers. Edward Lockowitz, starting June 3rd, 2019, at $12 an hour. Bradley Hildebrand, starting May 28th, 2019, at $12 an hour. Brian Morris Rowe, starting May 20th, 2019, at $12 an hour. And Nicholas Billingeri, starting April 29th, at $12 an hour.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
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 Roll call?
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yeah.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Whoops. Where'd my pen go? There it is. You got it? Watch your head. Okay. All right, now we have ordinances. These are final adoptions of ordinances. They were introduced 2 weeks ago, and there was discussion. The public had an opportunity to review the ordinances, to get information, and tonight is for final adoption. So the first one is,
19 Code 782, Cat Bank. Is it open to the public?
motion.
Motion.
So moved.
So
Second,
moved.
Second.
and then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on 19 Code 782 Cat Bank? Okay, motion to close.
Motion to close?
Motion closed.
Second,
So moved.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Now you read that.
Okay, for final adoption, 19 Code 782, Cat Bank. Motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Do the same thing with each one. Ready?
I'm a yes.
That was a yes?
I don't know, it flew right past me, so I'm a yes.
Go ahead.
19 Code 783, amend Solicitor's Ordinance. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on a solicitor's ordinance? This is an ordinance that if you want to solicit, or if you want to knock on people's doors to sell them something, you would have to get a permit. That's what this is all about. No one wishes to speak, therefore, motion to close.
Motion to close?
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For final adoption of 19 Code 783, amend Solicitor's Ordinance. Motion, second, roll call.
So moved.
So moved.
Did we have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Who moved?
Down here.
Oh.
Okay.
It's getting away from us.
Who seconded it? Was there a second?
Jack.
Jack seconded? Okay. Thank you, Jack. Okay,
Hold us right out of the fire on that one.
roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
All right, last one.
19 Code 784, amend ordinance Communications Commission.
This is an ordinance that is about allowing younger, was it 13 to 18?
Yes.
To be a member of the Oakland Communications Commission as a non-voting member. And is there a motion to?
Open to the public?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on this? Therefore, motion closed.
Motion to close?
Motion closed.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, for final adoption.
For final adoption of 19 Code 784, amend ordinance Communications Commission.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Okay, we're
Mayor?
up to work session.
Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to comment, this ordinance is really adopted for Benjamin here. He is the youngest member of the Communications Commission, and he's been extremely involved. And the commission felt it was really in their best interest to change it so they can really start getting some of the younger youth. So Ben, welcome aboard.
Wow. So we're going to see you in the television studio. Thank you. Okay, we're up to work session, and who's going to speak?
Richard?
Richard?
Richard Hunt.
That's me. Yes, thank you, Mary. Actually, there isn't much of a role for me in this issue, but we put this back on for council's consideration, and we included the materials that had previously been provided as well as the materials that had more recently been provided, so that you could have a lot of information at your disposal in considering what to do and what position to take, or even take a position on this issue. So all of that was in the packet. And
Everybody
with
had the
that, I think
packet.
we can just turn it right over, back to the full council for discussion.
So let's discuss. This is the power plant issue.
Mayor?
Yes.
As I said before, this proposal is to construct a power plant in New Jersey, and the power would be used by New York, not by New Jersey. So I am not in favor of allowing the power plant in New Jersey. I would vote against it.
So you're in favor of a resolution?
I'm in favor of a resolution opposing the power plant in New Jersey, yes.
Okay.
As am
Anybody-
I. As am I.
Mayor, it's interesting, when it comes to this issue, having talked to a lot of the people at the far end of the county, they're very much opposed to this, except for the city involved, so I certainly do supporting the resolution against the power plant, since there is no inherent benefit to New Jersey.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Well, I'm just going to recuse myself from this because I have a vested interest in the people that build it. So I have to take myself out of the vote and out of the question.
Are you affected by this?
No, I'm not
Ah.
affected by it, other than,
Well, you're an electrician.
But it's not
other
you.
than being an electrician, no. I'd be happy, I'd go with how the council feels, but I really don't see the necessity for Oakland to weigh in on this. But if the council feels they want to pass the resolution, I'm fine with that.
I think it sends a strong message to Trenton. If all the towns in Bergen County, and even in the other counties, Hudson County also, oppose it, and to show our elected representatives that we, who are affected the most by it, are opposed to it.
The League of Municipalities Bergen County section has already passed a resolution, and the North, which I belong to, and the Northwest Mayors, Bergen County Mayors Group, which I belong to, also passed a resolution. So therefore, we'll put this on for the next meeting agenda, the resolution,
Yep, we'll have one on for the 8th.
and then everybody will vote then. Thank you. Next item is,
Next item is to discuss whether to move the school board election from April to November. You were previously provided with a memo from the borough attorney indicating that you do have the authority to do that under this enabling state law. We also provided you with a copy of that state law so you could read it fully. so that everybody understands what's involved with that move. Right now, the election is kind of a two-part process in April. You vote for the candidates, you vote for the school board budget as well. If it moves to November, you vote for the candidates, but you would not vote on the school board budget unless it would be a proposal for supplemental funding in excess of the levy cap law. All right, and with that, I think, again, we can just kind of turn it over for general discussion.
Right, I had, the paper showed which towns had an April election, and it was two towns, the city of Clifton and the township of Ridgewood was in November and moved to April. I had difficulty reaching the mayor of Ridgewood. I wanted to know why they chose to move back to April, because I think you have to get the full story before you make any decisions. And so Mr. Kunz was able to reach out to the administrator of Ridgewood, and he reached out to a councilman in Clifton who we're all familiar with, and he was very open, both of them were very open as to why they moved the election back to April. Did you email everybody?
No, I was asking if you thought I should do that, but I can summarize their comments.
Could you summarize
Sure.
it, because I didn't realize that.
Two, kind of interesting different takes on it. So Ridgewood moved back, at their governing body, the village council, voted to move the elections back to April, based on input they received from the public who wanted the opportunity to vote on their elections, vote on the school board budget. The school board apparently was not happy with that decision, sued the village, and eventually the village prevailed. So they're in the process of moving that back now. In the case of Clifton, the change back to April was initiated by their school board. It was actually opposed by the County Board of Elections. Litigation resulted
Also
in that
litigation,
case
which
as well.
means money.
And the Board of Education prevailed there too. If I understood Clifton correctly, there was concern, I guess, amongst our Board of Ed over the cost of running an election for the candidates, the candidate cost of election in November, and issues with ballot position and the equity with that. So.
And it turns out nothing changed when they moved it back.
In Clifton's case, they said their voter turnout for participation for the school board vote went from about 28% to 4%, and their overall cost, they're much larger than Oakland. Their cost was about 120,000 or so.
So the question is, to me, I really think the state did a disservice by giving choices. It's like a parent giving a child a choice. When you don't know what to do, everybody makes choices. They should have either done one or the other, and not have some towns do one thing and other towns do another thing. I didn't realize that John Cena was coming. I thought he was coming to talk about the power plant, because that's what he usually talks about. But you had different statistics than I did. Your statistics were even higher. I thought we only had 300 and something voters, but you're saying the Board of Elections had 477.
In 2017, there were 351 voters, and in 2018, 655, 2019, 477.
And the last time the budget was ever voted down was, how many we said, about 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
The budget passes.
The
And
budget
if,
can't
and,
be voted down if it's
not
within
open to
state
the public.
guidelines.
no, I had asked him a question, you're right, it's not open to you yet. Okay, I had asked him because I
Oh,
had
I know
different
that, yeah.
statistics. But I think that we checked on that, Mr. Kunz, that the last time the budget was ever voted down was about 10 years ago.
I remember the regional was voted down around 2008, 2009. I don't recall.
It was the
Does
regional.
anyone remember? Was
It was the regional.
voted down to right around that time?
It
Right?
was the regional.
And,
It might have been before that.
Might have been before that.
and when I was on the council in the 90s, when I was a council person, we had 1 year out of 9 years on the council, once the budget was voted down on the local and once on the regional. We are the only town of the 3 towns of the regional that has an April election. So when we have the April election, the cost falls on us only. But the regional is in November. And I didn't get any statistics. I should have looked at the statistics of how people voted in November. But It's true, if it goes above 2%, then you get to vote regardless. They can't go above 2%, so the budget will always remain at the 2%. I don't know, we had one person running for school board. I think she got less votes than the budget. Our attorney, Mr. Chakowski, gave us a very good summary of what it would take, what the community can do. So if you want to tell us.
Yeah, a couple points, because now we're in the phase, what I call the ping pong phase, and that's Ridgewood. So just so the council is aware, the council could adopt a resolution saying we're changing it to November. The following year, the Board of Ed could adopt a resolution saying it's going back to April. The other concern that was litigated in Ridgewood was not really with the change of election, it was the effect of the change on existing positions of Board of Education members. So if you were elected in April, your term would run to a subsequent April. When it was changed to November, did the term expire in November? Court decided that no, there's not a position up in November, it's up to April, and there's all sorts of issues whether it should be extended or not by operation of law. The statute is inoperable for the reasons that there are three choices: petition, the council, or the Board of Ed. So hypothetically, the Board of Ed could say, next year we're going to have a budget that will exceed that 2%. We'll adopt a resolution to change the election back. I'm not saying that will happen, but that's also a consideration. I don't consider the statute extremely workable, because we're seeing more where there are these changes if there are tensions between what the public wants, what the Board of Ed wants, and what the governing body wants. So those are just considerations. I don't think there is a right answer, but they should be considered.
Could that be a ballot question?
I don't believe so, because it's done by petition. I don't know the answer right off the top of my head, but, you know, from what I did not know what Mr. Coons indicated with Ridgewood. I was aware that it happened, but I didn't know what the genesis of it was. But Ridgewood has an active community where I believe the public was going to the governing body and say, change this, and they did.
It was very interesting what Clifton did. Clifton was worried because it said, if you look at a ballot, it usually the top of the ballot is the top office holder. So, and then it goes down the line. So if there's a presidential election, of course the president's candidate would be at the top of the line. And then it goes to the state officials and then the local officials. If and Clifton said when they had a November election, the school board members were on the ballot of the bottom of the ballot.
On a separate line.
No, same line.
Same line as the...
That's right, it couldn't be on the same line.
No, it can't, it's nonpartisan.
That's right, but I don't know if maybe Clifton's nonpartisan, maybe that's why? I don't know.
I think if...
It can't be under the...
But it's on the bottom, you're right, but it's on the bottom.
It's like a question.
And they were worried that people would get tired and not vote on the bottom. But they said when they went to April, the same thing happened.
Yeah, I think statistically what happens with, on a November ballot, the last position are always the school board. And if you look at the number of votes cast, it is always less for the school board members.
But that's with...
Whether it's being missed or not.
But I was told that's with everyone. So if it's, let's say you vote for state senate, then you vote for assembly, then you vote for mayor, then you vote for council, less and less votes down the line, and that's just a fact of life. And they say that, I learned that, you know, for statistically. So I don't know what this board wants to do.
I have a question.
This is the time.
Has anybody asked the school board what they would like to do?
Yes. I went to a couple of meetings.
And what does the school board want to do?
They want to keep it in November so that people can vote for the budget. April, what'd I say? I'm sorry, I meant April.
Well, maybe the thing to do, so that the public has the advantage of hearing this, so this way we can make an informed decision. What if the school board comes down and they address us, and they can explain to us why they feel, I mean, I remember 3 years ago hearing everybody up at this dais tell me, well, gee, we've got to listen to our professionals. They're our education professionals. Maybe we should, I mean, just, you know,
I agree, but
on the surface, everything sounds like, yes, we should have it in November. I agree, the economics of it, the logistics of it, I agree with it all. Because actually, I believe when I looked, our budget, we spent 19, it was actually 19,000 this year on the election.
21,000.
23?
It was 19, wasn't it, Rich? You said 19, you gave me 19.
It's over
It was
20,000.
21, wasn't it?
The email I sent, that we sent around was 21.
21,000.
Remember when I asked you originally, you said it was 19? Okay,
No.
but whatever, even at 21, you know, even 19 or 21, you know, it's a lot of money for 470 people to vote, and I agree with that. But I still think it would behoove us to ask the school board if they want to send a representative down, and maybe at a council meeting, they can explain to us and the public what their rationale is, and then we can make a decision.
Well, I'd like them to come here so we
Yes.
can televise and
That's why I
everybody
said
can
come
watch it
down here
and
to a council
advertise
meeting.
that.
I
Yes.
agree, Mayor, what you said before, the public deserves to have the full story. I think those were
That's
the
what I
exact,
said, yes.
exact words that you used.
Exactly.
The public deserves the right to have the full story. I really, with all my heart, believe in the democratic process that we have here in the United States. They have separated the Board of Education from the Borough Council for a specific reason. And they are our professionals, and they are very closely tied to our educational professionals. So I, again, would also like, as Councilman Levy said, I would like them to send a representative here. And as you said, it's on TV, to fully explain to them the pros and cons, because it's not just money. You know, there are obviously numerous reasons, and I would like to hear from the Board of Education, and then we can make a decision based on all the facts. That's what I have to say.
But then again, the other thing is, we have 70 towns in Bergen County. How many, Mayor, did you say, have the April election?
What did you say, 8?
Say,
Which means 62 towns have it in November.
Well,
Mhm.
and I would just say, John, I mean, and again, I'm not a proponent of strongly of one over the other, but based on that rationale, if the other 70 towns jumped off a bridge, should we?
It has nothing to do with
That sounds like what
Lou.
my parents used to say to me.
Yeah, I
My
know.
parents used to say to me.
It is a fiscal responsibility, as Don brought up, that we're spending X amount of money, comes out to about, we spent $45 on every vote to put that election on. And that's an awful lot of money per person to spend on a
Listen,
vote.
I agree, but, and all I'm saying is, let's ask them to come down,
It's every,
explain to us what their reasoning is, and then we can make a decision and, you know, maybe with
So
some
could
public
you
input.
send a letter up to the superintendent, Mr. Kearns?
Mayor?
Yeah, we'll contact them and invite them.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just want to say, as a parent of children in the K through 12, especially in middle school, I think it'd be some major overreach of this governing body to impose anything as far as changing the election without having all the details and the reasons.
Well, that's why we invited them.
Hang on. And the other thing also is extremely important to me is, as a parent, is having the ability, just because we had one person on the ballot, okay, doesn't necessarily mean that next year you're not going to have 2 or 3 people on the ballot. And I think we need a voice in being able to, as citizens, to keep this 2 separate and distinct elections.
Well, I
However-
encourage everyone to consider running for school board,
And
because
how-
it's true. Only one person ran.
And I did talk to a couple of the school board members, and I am in complete agreement with the direction of Mr. Levy and yourself for putting forward to have somebody from the school board come here and educate not only the members of this governing body, but also the community at large before we make a decision like this.
So we are asking the school board, if you're watching this meeting tonight, Mr. Kearns will contact the superintendent of schools. We're asking the school board to come to a council meeting so that it can be televised, rather than us going there, which is not televised. Then the public can hear the sides and the reasoning why we should spend over $20,000 to have 3%, 4% of the population go to the polls in April, when the money maybe could be used for the schools. I have 3 sons who went through the entire school system. I think the Oakland school system is wonderful. I praise the Oakland school system. I think it's a great school system. My 3 sons went to Manitou Elementary, Valley Middle School, Indian Hills. Got a great education, did well in college, and they said they were so well prepared. I cannot say anything negative about the school system, and I appreciate all the school board members who give of their time. But I'm asking you to please come here and justify why having just 3% of the population come out to vote, 4% of the population, spending over $20,000 when something so useful could be used in the school. Just give us the rationale. That's all we want. We want you to come here and give us both sides of the story
I think
so that we
that-
can make an
if-
educated decision.
If I may, we have parents of kids right here. Maybe at the public session, they could come up and just give us their take, because you, just like Councilman Kamala, and you have Councilman Talamini, have kids in the school system. I mean, if you have thoughts on it, we'd like to hear from you too.
I personally would wish the Board of Education, knowing that there's such a low turnout, would do a better outreach program to try and publicize in a greater way the need for people to come out and vote. You know, we've said this before.
I got an email from
Roughly around 70% of your taxes go to schools.
That's where majority of the money is, goes to the
That's
schools.
the biggest issue here, that 66% of your municipal bill is the Board of Education.
I was gonna.
This municipal bill to run the municipality is about 25%. So there's a big difference. It's more than twice as much on the Board of Education. There should be everybody voting on this Board of Education budget. But when you get 3%, you say, is it worth it having it then? Or should we move it to a different time when everyone else comes out to vote?
Well, and then
He's
just,
chomping at the bit to speak.
no, it's just, you know, everybody comes to the council to complain about the tax bill, and, you know, a lot of it is the school board, and I was gonna suggest to Mr. Center if he would go to a board meeting and bring up the points too, because, I mean, my opinion is also that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And because we can move the election, I don't think it's really our business to move the election. If the school boards so felt that, that's their business. And then I just feel I would rather have the school board election separate from the general election, only to keep politics out of the school board election, and also retain the right to vote on the budget. That's my personal opinion.
Thank you. All right, so we are officially inviting the school board to come speak with us. Mr. Kunz is going to reach out to the superintendent Cafaro, and just leave it local, because the original vote's in November.
And if they don't come, then they leave it entirely up to us without their input. So,
It just shows that they trust us.
well, it either shows that or lack of interest.
Mayor, one question?
Yes.
Mr. Senna, did you go to the school board and bring this up?
I did not.
Any reason why?
However, no, because I happen to know that the mayor has been to the school board multiple times to discuss this, and she's been stonewalled. So what good would it do for me to go?
Well, you're a member of the public.
You're a member of the
That's
public.
what you heard.
She's the mayor and a member of the public as well.
Okay, all right, we'll finish that at another time.
Will you attend a school board meeting and ask?
Excuse me?
Will you attend a school board meeting and ask? Bring your voice forward?
This is not a give and take. I mean, what difference does it make if he goes to the school board? We want the school board members here.
Right.
We want them to be on television. We want the public to hear everything. We want both sides heard, not just the side that says it's fiscally, we have a fiduciary duty to our taxpayers for fiscal responsibility, and that would be moving into November. It's why do they feel that the necessity to keep it in April? And I was talking to for full disclosure, I was talking to Councilman Levy, and he said, well, was it you I said this to? You said, but it's coming out of the school board budget. So
No,
it wasn't you?
no, because when you said it to me, I said, it might come out of the school board budget, but it still comes out of all our
Right, because
taxes.
I said it's like somebody wearing a pair of pants. This is the analogy I gave, which you'll understand. So, the left side of your pants, the pocket, is the school budget. And on the right side in your pocket is the municipal budget. In the middle, wearing the pants, is the taxpayer. So what difference does it make if you go into your left pocket or you go into the right pocket? It's still $25,000. So we need to hear both sides, not just the money side, but why do they think it's so important to keep the school board election in April? And I think we need to hear it on television so that all the residents have the opportunity of hearing it. And with that, we'll move to the next item, which is an easier item to discuss because this is happy. Everybody's happy with this one.
The banner sponsorship program.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit more lighthearted. After
I think the school board should come down and talk about this.
After the last meeting, we worked up some additional renderings of the banners using different color schemes as suggested by the council. So what we're looking for here is just some final direction on which color you would like to use.
All right.
So we can then finalize the program.
In case you didn't hear at the last council meeting, these are banners that will be hanging from the light posts. And they're going to be sold to businesses in town and organizations, not private families, not political, nothing, nothing socially derogatory, but businesses or organizations. And they will pay to have their banner put up with their name on it. The money from the banners will be used towards the holiday decorations that we're going to really upgrade this year in town. So the big discussion was not the design, because everybody liked the design, as you can see. We did it tonight so the children could see it, of the original Ponchers Library, the Welcome Borough of Oakland, and support local business. Somebody asked me if it should say Welcome to Borough of Oakland, but it just says Welcome Borough of Oakland with the Oakland seal. The big discussion was the color scheme. So the choices were yellow on blue, yellow on green, because that seems to be the borough colors, yellow on green with a blue border, yellow on green with the yellow border, or yellow on blue with a green border, or a yellow and blue with a gold border. Now, this is a major decision we have to come up with.
Mayor, I'd just like to share with my council.
Yes, so we'd like to hear from the children. They're taking over this discussion. You, go ahead, call your colleagues.
Everyone should have their little turn.
Yes. You can call on your colleagues and see if anybody has an opinion.
Mayor, on consultation with my consultant.
Jack would like to speak?
Jack, go ahead, lay it on. Okay, so
All right, does everybody have their microphones on so we can hear you?
Right. I personally think that the gold on blue or yellow on blue looks, well, the best, and it matches, it also matches the Indian Hills colors. So.
And what does the yellow on green remind you of?
Rampo.
Right, that's what we said.
I concur with council.
All right, go ahead, call on your colleagues.
My colleagues. What do you think? Yeah.
I choose the gold on blue with the gold border.
So if you had to vote on a color scheme, what would you vote for?
This one.
The blue with the gold.
Okay, go ahead, call the last.
Giacomo?
Well, personally, I like the gold on blue because I'm going to Indian Hills. Yes, I'm a little biased there, but
He has to recuse himself.
no, but overall, I just think it looks nicer, in my opinion. So it's more,
All right.
grabs your eye.
Go ahead, call them.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with what everyone said, and I personally like the blue with gold, too.
Is it going to be unanimous?
Well, you gotta keep asking, you missed two.
Ben?
So I personally like the gold with the blue and the green border, simply because when we've talked about this at the Communications Commission meeting, and when we were discussing the different colors of Oakland and redoing the website and everything, we found that when going through all of the different bylaws and everything, the official colors of Oakland, which we lined up, are the green, the blue, and the gold. So I like incorporating all three colors into the one banner. Although I do like the one with the gold on the blue background with the gold border, I personally like all three colors incorporated better.
And Sean?
I like the one with the blue background and the gold border, personally, because like meaning means a lot, but I think aesthetically it looks the best because first of all it makes everything inside really show off compared to the green border, which is darker and blends in with the blue. So I agree with everyone else.
So,
Very good assessment.
Great, that was.
So you got everybody's
analysis.
opinion. Now we have to get the council opinion.
Four choices.
Anybody want to speak?
I agree with my colleague sitting to my left. I would prefer a blue banner with a gold border.
Anyone else wish?
Jack's the man, I'm with him.
Okay. Councilman,
We're good. Blue gold.
down here.
Blue gold, I'm going with Indian Hills. I was going with green because that was the town colors, but it does look good, and I don't want to make any enemies with our high schoolers.
Right, because we have some that may be going to Roundabout.
I really like Ben's assessment of, I tend to go for the yellow border, but now that Ben has kind of brought it forward, the fact that it incorporates the official Oakland colors, I do like the fact that if we had the green border around it with the blue background and yellow, it captures the blue background and Oakland's colors in a very subtle way.
That is this one with, it's a blue banner, gold writing, and a green border. Last one.
As much as I'd like to agree with Ben, I think the blue with the gold border just looks better. I think it's the way to go.
Okay, I think that direction is very clear.
Okay.
So, we know what we're doing.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, any new business?
Yes.
Yes, and you're on. Trey is on. We have certificates of recognition for each member of the student government body for participation in student government. And I signed them all, you can give them out.
Okay.
Well, Trey gets his. Yes. I'm still trying to find them. Yeah, we'll do that at the end.
We'll stand behind.
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah, we'll do it all together. We're almost finished, we're almost finished. Okay, now ask if there's any
Old business?
Okay, good, big chair. Oh, look at that. Any old business?
Yeah, Mayor, I have a question. John, don't run away.
He's not leaving. You're leaving?
We were trying to sneak out.
Yeah, they were doing the Irish exit
Hey,
there.
I
saw
can't
that.
sneak out, you can't sneak out.
John, any update on the paving on 287? Are they finished?
No, they're not finished.
Good. Because 58 northbound between 58 and 59 is as bad as it was southbound, so.
Okay, I will reach out to the DOT project manager right now or tomorrow. But they did repair the area coming off the 208 ramp.
Yes, that
No
was
doubt.
very good.
No, what they
About
did
3 weeks
southbound,
ago.
what they did southbound is nice, but I just wanted to make sure they weren't finished because they're not finished.
They're not finished, but I will bring that to their attention.
John, also, when you go, I say east on on the 208, just before the exit or the overpass, they ended the pavement and there's a lip. You gotta go over a bump, and the same thing going south on 287,
They didn't fathom.
where they end the pavement, they must have ran out of pavement because there's a lip. There's a
They
bump.
might not be done,
Yeah.
and that might be a temporary condition.
Okay, but there are at
But I
least
will-
2 places.
I'll check it out. That's my gut feeling, is that it's a temporary condition and they haven't feathered it in yet.
Okay, yeah.
But I will
They
I
do
will
need
bring
to
that up
feather it
with
in.
them as
And,
well.
and they did a nice job on the sidewalk by Allen Brook. They did a really nice job. Commend them for coming back, and thank you.
Thank you, and that's PSE&G.
PSE&G
That did that.
Great
They
job.
did something
They
right.
did a great
They did
job
very
on
nice.
208.
Because it was their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Now, we won't get into
Thank
that
you.
right now. That's a whole story. Okay, so now we get to
Council committee and liaison reports.
liaison.
Liaison.
Go ahead, start with.
Start with Councilman Palmy.
Down here? Okay. Handing it off.
School report. The budget was passed. Thank you for your support. Public events. Another great event. The rain held up for the egg hunt. We had a train. We had snacks and activities and pictures with the Easter Bunny. Thank you to the public events team. Remember, we always need members. Thank you.
Okay.
Next. Oh, you want the names?
Do I need, wait, what?
You want to read the names? So the next one will be Councilman Kumala.
Councilman
Conway.
Councilman Benjamin has his prepared remarks.
The Oakland Recreation Report. Football, soccer, and cheer signups are currently taking place. For more information, please visit oaklandrec.org. The next Recreation Commission meeting will take place Monday, April 29th at 8 a.m. at the Danny DiElla building. Roller rink update. Boswell Engineering is still on target to have the bid packet ready by the first week of May. Communications Commission report. The Communications Commission has 3 vacancies they would like to see filled. The Commission oversees the various committees underneath it, including the Newsletter Committee, Bulletin Board Committee, Website and Social Media Committee, and of course, you wouldn't be watching this meeting without the work of the volunteers of the Oakland Television Committee. The Commission also sets policy for the committees and works with the borough to disseminate the information to the public. If you have any interest in joining the Commission or being a volunteer on any of the committees, please email Ryan Schwartfigger at occ@oakland-and-jade.org. The Commission would also like to thank the Borough Council for supporting our requested borough code change and allowing a junior member to join the ranks of the Commission. By adding this junior member, we hope to receive a unique and younger perspectives for what we could be doing better as a Commission, while at the same time show that we are actively looking for new volunteers to join us and learn about the ever-important and multifaceted world of communications. The Commission hopes to be able to work with the Oakland Public Schools and the Rampo Indian Hills High School District to encourage older middle school students and high school students to volunteer with us. We hope that our OCC liaison, Eric Kumala, and schools liaison, Councilman Talmini, will be able to assist us in this regard. Our next Communications Commission meeting is May 6th at 7:30 p.m. here in Council Chambers.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, the next one is Councilman Bialy.
Councilman Bialy?
Right
Yes.
here. Over here.
Temporary Councilwoman Jasmine Azar will give the report.
Bingo is scheduled for Thursday, May 16th.
This is the senior report, first of all.
This is the senior report. Bingo is scheduled for Thursday, May 16th at 1 p.m. and movie day is scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. as well. The movie selected is Greenbrook. The Senior Center now has an email list. Monthly updates and important communication will be sent via email to those on the list. For any resident interested in joining the email list, please reach out to Ariel in person, via phone, or via email at seniors@oakland-nj.org to be added to the list. Starting on Tuesday, May 7th, the Senior Center will begin a weekly walking club, which will continue on every Tuesday during the months of May and June, starting at 9:30 a.m., weather permitting. Each walk will last about 30 minutes, and there will be a special guest from town on each walk. Just stop in Ariel's office and let her know you're attending, and give her a call at 201-405-7731. The Senior Center will be hosting a Lunch and Learn with Elder Care attorney Rhonda Benjamin on Thursday, May 30th at 12 p.m. A pizza lunch will be provided. Last but not least, the Senior Center will be hosting our spring party, Kentucky Derby Day, on Thursday, May 2nd at 12 p.m. There will be food, fun, and pony races. Garden party attire and hats are encouraged, but not required to get into the spirit of the event. Registration is required. For the historical and cultural report, the borough has awarded a $225,000 contract for external renovations to the historic Hendrick Van Allen House. Repairs to the outside of the building are expected to begin in May and will last at least 6 months to complete. Internal repairs, estimated to be an additional $250,000, will follow later in the year or early next year. As reported earlier, the Borough Council is simultaneously seeking permission from the State Historic Preservation Office to dismantle the main structure of the 1902 Stream House while preserving the unique base foundation in hopes that it will eventually be incorporated into a small museum or showroom. A ruling on this request is expected in June. The renovations will include a correction of structural deficiencies in roof framing, restoring the east wing shingle roof, flashing, soffits, dormers, and roof cornice. Also, the repairing of the exterior doors and windows, the restoration of brick and stone masonry, the restoration of wood siding and trim, the restoration of the wood porch, landing, steps, and railings, as well as the preparation and painting of the exterior wood surfaces. The Van Allen House restoration will be mostly financed with grants. However, there is currently no funding to dismantle or rebuild the Stream House. This could be financed through bonding unless a nonprofit source of funding can be found. Mayor Schwager, Administrator Coons, and Councilman Bile have met with the Oakland Historical Society regarding the future of the buildings. The Franklin Lakes Oakland Rotary have shown interest in fundraising for the Stream House project. Both buildings are part of the Van Allen property and both listed on the New Jersey and National Registers of Historical Places. George Washington stayed in the house for 3 days in July of 1777 while moving troops from Morristown to West Point, New York. The Stream House was built by Oakland's second mayor, Edward Page, and has a unique arch in the base which straddles the Pond Brook, which provided natural cooling from his dairy farm products, which were stored there. The upper floors comprised an office and residence for the farmer's manager, and eventually served as the borough's first library building. The 700-acre farm passed through several owners and was eventually sold to developers in the 1940s. It was converted into a summer resort community, offering access to the privately owned Crystal and Mirror Lakes. The 1645 cottages were converted into year-round residences over time and eventually became known as the Ramapo Mountain Lakes community. Thank you.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Thank you, Mayor. My colleague to my left will read a report. Thank you.
On April 23rd, Councilman Pignatelli attended the Green Team meeting. They discussed the following items. On April 28th, they will be collecting bulk styrofoam at Borough Hall. On May 4th and 5th, they will be planting roots for rivers, which includes planting tree seedlings along the banks of the stream that runs through the Great Oak Park. Volunteers are needed. Assemble at the Great Oak Park. On June 11th, a program on butterflies will be presented at the library. Dawn Torino will speak on using native plants in a butterfly sanctuary. On June 13th through June 16th, they will staff a booth at the carnival along with the Environmental Commission. Used toy drive. The Green Team will be collecting unwanted toys at the car show to be distributed to needy children. They also distributed their quarterly report on their accomplishments. Bergen County Utilities Authority announces their household hazardous waste collection event to be held Saturday, May 11th, July 20th, and September 14th at the Bergen County Campgaw Mountain Reservation, 200 Campgaw Road. Items include gasoline, paint, pesticides, and etc. It will start at 9 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Do not bring electronics, paper shredding, or tires. However, if you have tires, electronics, or paper to shred, bring it to Camp Gaw on the following dates: Saturday, June 8th, and Sunday, October 6th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you.
And just, Mayor, I'd just like to point out there are 2 different dates for recycling, because I went once when they were only collecting tires, and they would not collect hazardous waste.
Oh, wow.
So there are 2 dates. If you have hazardous waste, bring it the first one, June 11th. If you have tires, electronics, or paper to be shredded, bring it on June 8th.
Wow, good to know.
There's a big difference.
Thank you. Okay, this is the councilman.
Okay.
Councilman Levy?
Thank you.
Did he give you something, Yvonne?
The grant committee is happy to announce that Columbia Bank here in Oakland has indicated that they will be donating $25,000 to our hockey rink rehabilitation.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Very
That's
nice,
outstanding.
Councilman Levy. And Jack?
Talk to my agent.
Thank you, Jack. Wow.
Thank you,
Great
Columbia
news.
Bank.
And then we have Councilman Knapp.
Councilman Knapp?
Giacomo.
Alright. For the Oakland Fire Department monthly council report, so this is for the month of March. And the reporting month, so calls of service for the quarterly is 42, and the hours is 1,230. And there were 3 drills and 9 hours of training. And in the years to date is 90, and then 455 hours, 9, and then 15 hours. And then the total for the year to date would be 104 for the quarterly, and then 1,814 hours. And there has been assisted with 3 successful vehicle extractions, 1 car fire, and 1 small basement fire. Now the Oakland First Aid Squad, Squad 86, calls for the month of March. They also participated in a active shooter drill in Allendale. A drill with the Oakland Police is being planned. And then there's this, where the MV stop were 358, the ambulance requests were 86, the school check was 71, motor vehicle crashes 39, alarm for burglars was 39, and radar details were 18. And then there were 4,950 calls for service.
That's
Wow.
for the police department.
That's just for 1 month.
The 4,000 is year to date.
Oh, that's,
4,000
yeah, I was
years
gonna
ago.
say, wow.
And May's Bicycle Safety Month. Drivers make sure you are aware of all bikers on the roadway. Remember, vehicles share the roadway with the bikers, so be careful and respect them. But whether you're riding for fun, exercise, or for your commute, make sure you're prepared before you head out. Ensure your bike is in proper working order. That includes your tires as being good in condition and with the proper air pressure. Always wear a properly fitted and secured helmet. Bright clothing during the day and reflective clothing at night. Choose your route carefully. Take the roadway with the least amount of traffic and drive defensively. Stay focused and alert at all times. Never assume vehicles can see you or are aware of your presence. And to the younger members of the Oakland community, the officers of the Oakland Police Department have been given good deed certificates to be issued to any children seen doing something safe, being a good role model, or other good deeds. So if you are doing something good and approached by an Oakland police officer, you may receive a certificate for a good deed, which will get you an ice cream at a Dairy Queen. So enjoy and stay safe. And it looks like this.
I do good stuff.
You're not a kid. Physically.
Is that it?
No.
And the Great Oak Park and the Great Lawn is progressing. James Construction completed the landscaping, and now the DPW is seeding and spreading for the grass. So thank you, Mayor.
That's it?
That's it.
So now we do,
We're opening to the public.
I,
Motion?
So moved.
Second. Jack was first.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak? This is your chance again.
Here I come again.
You have to give your name and your address.
Don Center, 47 Thackeray Road, on the power plant.
we know what's
Happy to
coming.
hear that most of the council seems to be in support of that resolution. Just one thing Pat said, New York gets the electricity, New Jersey gets nothing. Not true. New Jersey gets pollution. All pollution from burning fossil fuels comes straight out of that plant to Jersey. So
Correct.
it's a good thing. It would be really great to have you, the council, approve that resolution.
Next council meeting will be a resolution on the agenda.
And as far as the school board election is concerned, you might want to consider inviting someone from the Rampo Indian Hills Board to explain or say if there have been any, negative aspects of having an election in November
All right,
as
that's-
opposed to April.
That's a very good idea, Mr. Carnes. Would you also reach out to the regional school board?
Sure, I'll talk
So
to
the
Dave.
night that everybody can come, and this way, you're right, the public can hear everybody on all sides.
Unfortunately, I'll be away for the next council meeting, but.
You can watch us on television.
I will do that and come back after that, I'm
YouTube.
sure. And the other parents are here. Does anyone have an opinion on the school board election? Would like to talk? Okay, thank
It's
you.
open to the public. Anybody else wish to speak? Then if not,
What? Somebody's making a
Motion
move.
oh,
Motion to close over here.
Motion to close? Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bills to be paid. Councilman Tommy. Motion?
Bills
no,
to
yes,
be-
yes, yes, first read the bills.
Okay, got it.
Bills to be paid, $576,810.04. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
And roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Councilman Levy and Councilman Cooper say yes.
Councilman Bigaselli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
And before we adjourn, I just want to compliment the students. Thank you to our teacher and our student council. Trey did an excellent job. He followed all the directions. He ran the meeting, very organized. He did a great job. It's always a pleasure having the students. We look forward to it again next year. And we're going to adjourn, and the council would like to take a full picture with everybody, if we could do that, so don't rush out. So at this time,
Down here,
Joke about
down
me.
here.
we need a motion.
Is there a motion?
So
To-
moved.
Adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we can read the next meeting,
The next meeting is on May 8th.
right here in council chambers. Thank you, and be safe. All right, a group photo.
You did great.
Griff, thank you very much, Griff.
We had to stand,
Thank you, Griff.
stretch our legs.
All right, everybody up? Wish we stay all here? I'll let you take on here.
How about this? I'm gonna give you my phone. You can put your stuff. Don't forget it.
Oh, have the kids, where should we be? Up here? Above by the seal?
In front of the desk so we can all fit in the picture. This
Oh,
wide,
right,
we can't.
okay.
Well, that
Wow.
Are you guys going down there to take the picture? Why should I put on that?
Stand over here. Right here, in front of the seal. You gonna do them separately or with them? Gonna stand behind our person?
Should probably stand, yeah, why don't we stand behind our council person?
Yes, we'll stand behind you.
It would be a little back.
Where's Jasmine?
Hey.
All right, we have to get in front of us.
Yep, stand by the mayor.
All right, where's Trey?
Right here.
Over here, come on. Except you can't be in front of me.
Oh, well, okay.
Everybody together, together, move closer, everybody closer together. So is Lou in the picture? Did Lou get in the picture?
I'm in the picture.
Okay. Wait, one more, over there, look at Mr.
Over here, right here.
That's a cute phone case, right?
You like it?
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it.
Did you take it?
I did.
Oh.
Can I get one?
Multiple. You can choose, man.
All right, great.
Excellent.
Very good. Everybody good?
Very good.
Okay. You like my phone?
Congratulations.
You like my phone?
You did great. She did great.
Good job, man.
Take the mayor.
Oh, you're an eight. Okay.
Seal behind us?